living like a stage. Hey, hey, 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 love yourself first, explicitly. You owe it to yourself to move with that energy. Empower your self-esteem. Self-love is king. That's the only way to win. That's how you empower your dreams. Living like a stage. Hey, hey. Living like a stage. Hey, hey. Living like a stage. Hey, hey. Living like a stage. Hey, hey.
Hey y'all, happy Tuesday. Yeah, we doing Mindset Monday on a Tuesday, but I knew yesterday was Labor Day and people were chilling. And so at first I had it scheduled and then I was like, you know what? I'm gonna just go ahead and move it over to Tuesday so that, everybody could have their day of relaxation, including me, right? So we had the kids over, the adult kids and the new grandbaby, and then some of the kids' friends, because our two sons graduated together. And so they have a lot of mutual friends. So we had a house full on Saturday. Your girl was on the grill. I did ribs, chicken, burgers, hot dogs, sausages. I made pasta salad, macaroni and cheese. What else did I do? Baked beans, all that myself. So I was kind of worn out too, because, I'm no spring chicken, which is a great segue into today's topic. Hey, Kenneth. Hey, Deborah. How are y'all? And I see some happy birthdays. So let's see, because Wallace's birthday, you know what, Chris, you and Wallace have the same birthday. Wallace's birthday is September 12th as well. And so it's really funny. We are 3 months apart. So my birthday is 12/9/71 and Wallace's is 9/12/71. So yeah, kind of cute little fun fact about us. But yeah, happy birthday in advance. Chris, just a couple of days away. So I hope you have something fun and exciting planned. Wallace's birthday is always a secret. So he doesn't know what we're doing. So I can't share with y'all because, he be creeping in these comments. Hold on. I need to take a sip of my wine. I really should have brought some water up here, but it's dinner time and haven't eaten dinner. But I said, well, I'm at least have my glass of wine while I talk to y'all. But hey, y'all. Usually Wallace is with me on Tuesday, and I don't know if he's going to pop up here at all. But again, since I switched the days, I was like, you know what? I already had my topic. So let me go ahead and just do that today. And he may, we might do a pop-up another day this week because the schedule is hectic around here and I can't always keep up with the days. Hey, Tori, thank you so much for being here. So y'all, today, I just wanted to have like a chit chat about life, aging, and everything in between. And so let me go ahead and put the link in the chat if anyone wants to join me up here. But it's just something that I have found myself having a lot of conversations around since I have gone into this, 100 plus time in my life. It's a little bit different, right? So it's the whole learning yourself all over again. We are dealing with a lot of times looking into maybe retiring from a lifelong career up to this point. A lot of us going into the whole empty nester thing, not to mention the things we go through with our bodies. I call it's like going through puberty in reverse. But just like the aches and pains, I was at an event this morning and I went downstairs to the hotel lobby before Wallace did. He was still upstairs chitting and chatting, and our youngest son was with us. And so we had come down to the lobby and I was sitting there and they had a nice plush lobby at the Sheraton with nice chairs and, plush, cushy couches. See, look, and my elbow keeps hurting me now just from doing this. And this is a nice chair. So I got up when Wallace came down so we could head to the valet. And I guess the way I got up, Wallace automatically was like, what's wrong? And I'm like, nothing. My knee's just hurting. And my knee's hurting for absolutely no reason. So that's something else that we deal with as we get older, just the aches and pains. and things like that. And then they talk about, growing old gracefully, which is, I don't even know what that means, right? Does that mean just roll with the punches? Does that mean get old and don't complain about it? Like, I really don't know what that means, because I can't grow old gracefully, because I'm not just going to go with the punches. I am going to fight it as much as I can. And when I say that, I mean, I'm going to stay active. I'm not just going to, turn into a couch potato. Even if my joints are a little stiff, I'm going to stretch them as much as I can. I'm not going to stop working. I'm not going to stop chasing my dreams. I'm going to keep doing the things that bring me joy. I'm not going to give up on certain things because of my age and feel like I'm too old to do this, even though it may be a little bit more difficult, because that's something that I did go through when I entered into my 40s, feeling like, oh my goodness, I haven't accomplished this, and this, and it's too late. And what I realized is it's not too late. And so many of the things that I wanted to do when I was younger, I definitely wasn't prepared for. Like, I had the desire, I had the dreams, but hey, Vonda, how are you, boo? That's my bestie, y'all. I got to hang with her. I guess it's been 2 weeks ago now in Virginia Beach at Funk Fest. We had a good time. I didn't realize how much I needed that vacation. And there's something about that in this aging too. When you have those lifelong ride or die friends, Vonda and I have been friends since we were in our early 20s. We raised children together. We have been through so many life changes together, different experiences. And I was there with my other best friend, Adrienne, who we've been friends for over 20 some years. And it just gave me life. Like, that trip was so difficult for me to make time for with my busy business schedule, and wasn't even sure if I was going to be able to do it. And there was a lot of moving things around. And, I didn't even get to enjoy the anticipation of the trip, because there was so much to do before. And when I got back, I had to hit the ground running. But I am so glad that I made it happen, because at this big age, it is so important to have that solid friend group. I felt like for the first time in years that outside of Wallace, I could just kick back, relax, and be myself. I didn't have to worry about anything, no one's opinions. I didn't have to be all businessified. And yeah, that's a word, I just made it up. These people know me so well. The conversations just flow. Vonda came all the way from Florida to meet us in Virginia, because our friend groups have intertwined over the years. And it was just a breath of fresh air for me to be around the friend group that have literally been my day ones, my first true friends as an adult. And so it blessed my soul. And that's important when you get older, because you want that companionship. You want those confidants. And life is not just a big party, right? And you have responsibilities, and you want to be around trusted, like-minded individuals who you can share this part of your life with. She said, yes, we have. And it's a beautiful thing to spend time, no matter how short. I really enjoyed it. Yes, me too, girl. And thank you again for just making that sacrifice to come up there and spend that time with me. But yeah, having those friends is just amazing. And so that's something that I'm going to do a video on one day by itself. I don't know if it's going to be a live. It'll probably be a pre-recorded video, but just about managing friends and friend groups at this age. So, there's just a lot of life changes that happen as you get older. But the one thing that always remains the same throughout life, and the earlier that you grasp this method of living, the more peace you will have, the more clarity you will have, the more sustainability you will have. And that is, mindset is everything at every age. And it's something to instill in your children from the time they're this big. And it's something to carry over all the way into your old age. We're going to Virginia Beach Saturday. Okay. All right. Yes. Big Navy town, Norfolk. The big ships are there. Enjoy. That's Awesome. Hey, Lachey, what's up, my adopted niece? How are you? Thank you for being here. I appreciate you. But mindset is truly everything. And so, what I had to kind of relearn or regenerate for myself as I started getting older and feeling sorry for myself and having those woulda, shoulda, coulda thoughts is, girl, what happened to your mindset? What happened to your positive mindset? Stop that stinking thinking. Stop allowing the couple of little aches and pains you have. Stop allowing the fact that you don't walk quite as fast as you used to. Because, like I said, it might sound dramatic, but for those of you who have started noticing those things, I want y'all to put a 1 in the chat. If you notice that, your step is just a little slower. You are a little bit more cautious when you move. Not saying that you no longer have the pep in your step, but it might not come as quick as it used to. And maybe, you get those aches and pains for no reason. If anybody can relate to me, put a 1 in the chat, because I know I'm not by myself. I know I'm not being dramatic. There are times when I literally feel like I have an injury, but I haven't done anything. And, I was telling my friends when we were at the Funk Fest that, I still like to dance, get a little boogie in my step. Thank you, V. Thank you. I know, and it's more than just you, but y'all want to be in denial. That's fine, because you can't be in denial to have a healthy mindset. Okay, Chris, I saw your 1. I missed it. Hey, she. But I said, I can't still drop it like it's hot, but I'm going to continue to drop it like it's lukewarm, right? Until I can't drop it no more. So we was out there jamming to the go-go music. We had Dougie Fresh was out there, and we had a good time. And the thing is, you have to keep that positive mindset. Lachey, you too young. I wasn't expecting no 1 from you, but girl, it happens. You can notice things though. I mean, there's a difference between being 25 and 35. You do notice. So I'm gonna go ahead and give you credit for your 1 too. But the thing is, you still have to have a positive mindset, and you still have to be focused on enjoying life, right? Because no matter how old you are, every day that you wake up and have breath in your body is still an opportunity, but you have to look at it as an opportunity, right? You have to actually be grateful. And sometimes that might be difficult, but if you really allow your mind to be in a positive mindset, no matter what you feel, no matter what you're going through, you are still going to have something that you can be grateful for. And that attitude of gratitude is the foundation of a positive mindset. Let me see. Hey, Kathy, will you all pray for me to receive a new used car with air conditioning? I'm old and I don't know what that says. In Florida, please. Amen. Yes, definitely praying for that for you, Kathy. Absolutely. Absolutely. Definitely praying for you for that, because I know it is hot in Florida. So I'm definitely sending those prayers up, and I'm sure the rest of the Life for Tribe will as well. Yeah, the knees, yeah, they don't move like they used to, but you have to have that attitude of gratitude. So even when the knees are stiff, right? Just be grateful that you can move, because there are other people our age and younger who are wheelchair bound. There are people who have been wheelchair bound since birth, you know what I mean? And things like that. So finding those things to be grateful for helps you with that positive mindset, because I know it's not easy every single day at any age. But one thing I've noticed as I've gotten older is the fact that I have to realize that even though I am definitely the same person, I'm always gonna be stay. No matter what I do, I'm stay. But you start to feel different, and you have to remember who you are. You have to remember the life that you've lived and all the things that you've done, and appreciate and be grateful for those experiences. You're never going to be able to go back to those younger years. However, you can still continue to create new memories, find new things that you like to do. Like, for instance, I used to love to run. I was actually training for a marathon. I know that I shared that with y'all several times, because that was actually one of the things that actually helped me create this. Hey, Tim, thank you for being here. Hugs right back at you. The whole Running for Your Life and the book that I wrote. But I can't run like that anymore. There are things that have changed, but what I can do is find some other activity. And for people who a major part of their life when they were younger was physical and sports and things like that, maybe you can be a coach for someone. Maybe you can go, volunteer to help kids at the Y do those things to still keep yourself involved. Hey, Lisa, thank you for being here. I appreciate you. And thank you for all of the awesomeness you do in our community. I appreciate you so much. But there are things that you need to realize that you can be grateful for, and you don't still have to be able to do those same things or in those same ways. But instead of grieving those things, instead of letting yourself get into a bad headspace, just find things that you can do that are close enough to that thing where you're still living and walking in your passion, if that makes sense. Because I see so many people as they start to get older, they get depressed and they feel like they no longer have a purpose. They're not raising kids anymore. Everybody doesn't have grandkids that then come around. And so some people, feel like they're worthless because they're not raising that family anymore, or maybe they've left that job which was so much a part of their life. And I remember one thing that my grandmother told me years and years ago, and it was about raising children, which I feel like it's also a good tip for raising ourselves, right? And so in raising children, it was about when you're raising kids, your prayer is that those kids will one day, hey, Cece, grow into healthy, thriving adults. But it is how you raise them and coach them as a child is going to have a lot to determine what kind of adult they are. And so you can't just baby your kids. You can't just spoil your kids. You can't just give your kids the world or let your kids have no type of discipline or whatever, because they are going to one day be an adult, and you don't want to have these bratty, snotty, irresponsible adults, right? But when I look at it for myself, it's like, I wish that I would have thought when I was younger more about my older years. I wish I would have prepared myself more to realize I'm not going to be 35 forever. Heck, I'm not going to be 45 forever. I'm not going to be 55 forever once I get there. I hope to one day be 95, but my capabilities at 95 are going to be a lot different than even my capabilities at 65 or 75. But I wish, which I do now, that I had that mindset to kind of plan ahead. Everybody talks about financial planning for when you get older and making sure that you have good health care. But what about mindset planning for when you get older? Like for us women, the whole thing about menopause, they are just now starting to openly talk about menopause and recognize that it's a real thing, and it's not just a physical thing, it's mental as well. I wish I would have. The only thing I knew about menopause really is let you stop having your cycle when you start having hot flashes. That's all I knew about menopause. I didn't know about all of the mental things or all of the different symptoms you can have from menopause that look like other things. And so I wish that I would have done more mindset planning when I was younger to prepare for older. Let me see. I think I'm missing some comments. Kathy said, I turned 63 and feel so blessed that I'm able to wake up in my right mind and able to get up and go to work. Hallelujah. Amen. Thank you, Father God. Yes. And that's the thing. Everybody doesn't have that. And everybody doesn't even have that in the younger years. So when you get to be older, it's like that's just a blessing, because we talk about the fact that tomorrow isn't promised and our lives aren't promised, but just being able to be in our right mind, just to be able to move and get around, that is not promised either. So those are things to be grateful for. And I truly believe in use it or lose it. Like the stiffer you feel, that's probably the more you need to move. Don't baby yourself. Because again, back to what we were talking about with raising kids to be productive adults, do that for yourself. Keep moving. Don't baby yourself. If that knee is stiff, move it more. Get into a yoga class, join the Y, do something, because you don't want to lose it. Okay, everybody's saying happy birthday to Chris. Kathy says, I just want to rock those babies in the hospital that have been neglected. Yeah, babies are so precious, so sweet. I'm thankful that I have zero negative blood and I'm able to give blood. Oh, yeah, that's awesome as well. And that's something too. And I'm glad you mentioned that, Kathy. It's like I talk about having the mindset of gratefulness. It's also being a giver. It is such a blessing to be a giver. And so, as you get older, like I was saying before, you may not be able to do the things you used to do, but there's somebody that you can coach and assist in something. And it doesn't have to be sports, it can be in life, it can be in crochet, it can be in cooking, whatever it is, giving. Because when we talk about giving, people usually think about monetary giving as well, but you giving of your time, that is such a blessing and such a gift to someone else. And that's a way to continue to feel active. And people say, you know, stay young forever. I'm not too interested in necessarily staying young. I just want to be able to be grateful and appreciate the season that I'm in, because I'm not young anymore. And I don't really want to be young anymore. I just want to be as healthy and as productive as I can at the age that I am. What you say, CC? Will stay. We need to keep our manganese working. Girl, I told you I could drop it like it's lukewarm. I can't do it hot, but you know, I still, you know, I can do a little one too. That's for sure. But that's the thing. You got to keep that motor running. You got to keep that motor running. And we are older models. So this is funny. My friend Jody, who is on here often, y'all have seen Jody for those of you who have been a part of the Life for Tribe for a while. Jody has a brand new 2024 beautiful vehicle. Jody is our age. She is a seasoned woman of a certain age. And I say our age just because, yeah, I bring all y'all in with me. I know people like, girl, I'm not your age, but y'all are. If you in the tribe, you my age. But so Jody is my age. And so she has a brand new 2024 car and she's about to go on a 10-day cruise. Why did my good friend ask me if I would mind if she parked her car at my house in the driveway, because she's going to be gone for a while and she wants to make sure that the car gets started every couple of days? I looked at her like, your new car? I said, Jody, it's not a 1975. It doesn't have to be started every couple of days. But that's the mindset that she had because of the age that she is. But I say that because for us, it's a little different. We need to keep our motors going as we get older, because we are those 1970 models. I'm a 71. I got to start my motor up. I got to keep my motor running. I have to keep moving. I have to keep going. And I'm not just talking about physically. I'm talking about as far as your mind as well. You have to do things that are going to keep you thinking. You have to do things that are going to challenge your mind. You have to do things that are going to make you be creative. You don't want to get stuck in a rut, because again, if you don't use it, you'll lose it. Your brain will get foggy. Your bones will get creaky. You'll start to gain weight because we are 70s models. Some of us maybe, you know, a little before 70s, but yeah, if you're an 80s model or under, you need to start that engine, and especially when it's cold outside. But yeah, I laughed at my friend. She said, can I park my car over there? But of course I said, girl, of course you can. I thank the good Lord above to let me see my 62nd birthday this Friday and keep my health up. Oh, happy birthday to you, Tim. We got a lot of birthdays in the house. I don't want to wait for Jesus to do a miracle when I can be a miracle to someone. Absolutely. Absolutely. You a 76, CCA. You got to start that motor up every once in a while. Everybody's saying, hey, and happy birthday. Let me see. LOL. CC, I'm a 62 model. Turning 62. I love that. I love that. If you can't run, walk. If you can't walk, tiptoe. Absolutely. You just got to move. You just have to move. Moving around 82 model, rubbing my knee. 82. Sheed. 80 and below. You ought to still be a spring chicken, Sheed. You ought to still be a spring chicken. But it's true. And we have to keep our bodies and our minds moving. And we can't have those negative thoughts creeping in, telling us what we can't do, telling us what we're too old to do. And we need to let the young people be the young people and realize that one day we were the young people. So that's something else I wanted to talk about is don't become one of those old fuddy-duddy judgmental people, because that just shows your age right away. I see so much of it. Y'all know I'm on TikTok, and that's where I have the bulk of my followers is on TikTok. And so TikTok is where I live a lot and create a lot of content. TikTok is where I get the most of my comments from. And what I see on TikTok is so many people in my age group condemning the younger people for the things they're doing, whether it's the TikTok dances, the baby hair, the eyelashes. I've even had people reach out to me because of the work I do as an emotional intelligence coach and a life coach, saying, "Hey, Lisa J, how are you? My other adopted niece on here. Hey, boo." Have come to me like, "Oh, I wish that you would talk to some of these young girls about their eyelashes and this, and this. They don't need to do that." Don't become that old person. Unless somebody is doing something to harm themselves or others, stay out of their business. Stay out of young folks' business. Quit trying to tell young folks how to live their lives, because you know that people were thinking the same with us when we was doing the asymmetrical hairstyles and them wearing the long tails in the back, and we had all them neon colors and the rubber bracelets up to here. That looked crazy to people too. And then we was out there doing the break dancing and all that kind of stuff. Leave these young folks alone. Instead of becoming that old person who doesn't have anything nice to say about young person, become that older, seasoned, mature, happy, healthy person who is able to glean something from those young people, who is able to see the fact that these young people don't have a lot of the same inhibitions that we had. Learn something from their freedom, learn something, and also respect the fact that they've been through things that we haven't been through. One thing I hear all the time from people is how weak these younger generations are. They've been through a lot as well. Now, us Gen Xers, we are mean and surly. I'm going to say that. We are the latchkey kids. We feel like we raised ourselves. I get all of that. Hey, Kelly, how are you? That is my girl right there. Hey, boo. What you say, Kelly? Can we at least request that bonnets not be worn out in the world? No, we cannot. We can, but we can't. Because here's the thing. Here's the thing, Kelly, with that. I agree with a certain amount of decorum, a certain amount of etiquette. Absolutely. I believe in time and place. However, my thing is that when reaching out to young people, we need to be able to reach out to them with kindness and love and in an appropriate manner. It's just the fact that when people do a whole lot of talking, but they're not doing any coaching and development, that's what I have an issue with. I too see some of the things that these generations do as like, okay, that's just not good etiquette. That's not professional. And I also realize how other people could be looking at them. And so it's about coaching. It's about developing. It's about saying it with a kind word. It's about giving some backstory and reasons why. Because just the plain ridicule, like people will post stuff on Facebook, you know, oh, these young people need to do this, this, and this. It's not going to be received the right way, because now it seems like you're attacking. I knew you would agree, boo. I knew you would agree. Yeah. So I definitely see, just like when we were growing up, some of the stuff we did, somebody needed to pull us to the side. But it's about how you say it. It's not what you say. It's not that you're wrong. But if it's just straight ridicule, because one thing about these younger generations, they don't have that same kind of communication with elders as we did. They don't have that same level of respect that you just get respect because you had a certain amount of birthdays. And so you have to know how to approach them. And that's the part that I don't think that we get. And I don't want us to be just those mean old lady and men that just complain about everything. If you see something and you feel like there is something that you can lend to someone to help them better themselves, you just have to be real careful about your approach, because that's a part of effective communication and what I teach all day, every day. And the main thing about effective communication is no matter what you're saying and how right it is, it's not going to be effective if the person that you're giving the message to is not receiving it. So you can talk until you're blue in the face, but if you have not said it in a way where that person can receive it, then you have not been effective in your communication. Let me see. Exactly. Let times change. We did. We have to. We have to. It still gets me when people bring their 2-day-old baby out in the stores. They different. Now, it's funny with my grandbaby. I just posted my grandbaby, my newest grandbaby, on Facebook for the first time yesterday. His mom and dad did not allow anybody around him for the first month. He did not go out. They made sure he was fully vaccinated, and they're still very careful about how many people he can be around. But then there's other people who aren't. And the thing is, you have to realize too, you don't know what their upbringing was. You don't know if they even have anybody in their life to mentor and guide them. And so when you see things, again, if you feel comfortable talking to people, you just have to be careful what you say. We did raise ourselves. We did. We did. Let me see. I'm with you. Time and place, please. Yes. Hey, Tampa, how are you? Thank you for joining us. Yes, I did get your email. I did, and I will be taking care of that this week. Yes. All right. I just wanted to make sure I was caught up in the chat, because we do have a lot to lend to our younger generations, but they're not going to receive the messages the same way we did. And so we need to meet them where we are. We need to learn how to speak their language and also be able to learn from them and quit, calling them weak and quit calling them, uncouth and saying they don't know how to act. Like, that's just not productive. My thing is, are we trying to make a change? Are we trying to give them some good, solid information? Or are we just trying to belittle them? Because that is something that I have seen a lot lately with the current climate that we're in and in this election time, where people want to get their points across, but the only way they can find to get their point across is by belittling other people and being negative and calling names and insulting people's intelligence and insulting people. And that's not what we want to do. When you're really trying to get a message across and you really feel like the information that you have is worth sharing, then you should want to do it in a way where it's going to be received, because other than that, it's going to fall on deaf ears. And if that's the case, then there was no need for you to say it in the first place. And so I don't want us to turn into those mean, bitter old people, because when you have those kind of feelings, that weighs on you as well. And so even though you're talking about the young people, it's a lot to carry those negative feelings. Like, it makes you feel tense. You get yourself all worked up. And it's really pointless. Those are the types of things that age you, like being negative, staying in a negative headspace, being judgmental. Those things age you quicker than anything else. Stress is the number one killer. You don't know what's going on with that ticker, and you get letting your blood pressure get all up, over things that don't even really matter. And if they do matter, you need to find a productive way to handle those. Let me see. Remember the knockout game that they was doing to the elderly? Yeah, that would have never happened when we were kids. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And that was crazy. And I just couldn't believe it. I saw a couple of those videos and I couldn't even watch anymore. But one thing I want to say when it comes to that is the fact that there has to be a coming together of the generations. I think that these younger generations are angry because I do believe a lot of us Gen Xers raised this younger generation. We didn't want to raise them the way we were raised. And then some of us were way too lenient on them. And, I just think it's a vicious cycle, but I don't think that it's anything that we can't repair. But they're just angry and they have a lot of rage and they feel, because they needed that structure that a lot of them didn't get. And so it's just this vicious cycle, and we have to do what we can do to get a hold of it. When our older folks talk to us, they always say, "Baby, can I talk to you about being a young lady or gentleman?" Oh, that's nice. The older folks ain't say that to me, Kathy. I'm glad you was right. But and that's the way you should. We have to realize that the newer generation is way more sensitive than we ever were. We have to allow them some grace in how they feel and what they feel. Need them where, I think you said, meet them where they are to understand them. And I agree and disagree, Vonda. I don't necessarily think that they're more sensitive. I think that we were desensitized, right? Because I truly believe that feelings are feelings and emotions are emotions. But I think what happened because we were so much taught to be tough. What you crying about? Keep crying. I'm gonna give you something to cry about. That's ridiculous. Who cares? You don't need no friends anyway. And we just kind of learned to suck it up. We still were sensitive. We had feelings, but we were taught to keep them to ourselves, and we had to be tough. And if you go out there crying, people were going to bully you whatever. I don't think that we weren't sensitive, but it was pretty much coached out of us. And then we had our kids, and we didn't like the way that made us feel. Like a lot of us I know didn't grow up in the houses where I love you was said every day, and that kiss on the cheek every day when you come home from school or before you go to bed. It just wasn't the same. And so we had kids, and we decided that we wanted to do something different. And we told them they could talk to us about everything. And we started validating their feelings and understanding them. And so now the pendulum has swung all the way to the other direction, where I think we just need to be somewhere in the middle. That's just my take. You said yours is sensitive. And I'm kind of half and half over here. We got 6. But again, I think it's not so much the sensitivity in that they're more comfortable in sharing their feelings, and we didn't. They didn't approach with harsh and angry speaking. Yeah, I got some harsh and angry speaking, but I love that, Kathy, because that's the way to do it. I never heard we didn't ask to be here until this generation. Yeah, that's because we would never say that stuff. But the thing is, we thought it. But that's the thing that was taught to me, by my mother. I don't care what you say about me. You can go in there and scream it in your pillow, but I better not hear it. But then we wanted our kids to talk. And so we also have to, I feel like, take responsibility for the part that we played, because all of us are only trying to do our best, and then meet them halfway. And that's something, when I have, stop it, Wallace, stop. I'm going to delete your comment. They are not soft. When I, had my kids, I wanted them to talk to me about everything, but I also have to, then teach them that you have to be able to deal with your emotions in the correct way. And so we're not having tantrums. The world's not coming to an end. We're not locking ourselves in our rooms. We're not doing any of those things. We're going to learn how to cope. We're going to learn how to effectively manage our emotions, which is, how I started doing what I do now. See, always egging him on. He's not funny. He's not funny. He is being a nuisance. We have to learn to teach them that, look, I wanted you to share your emotions. I want you to share your emotions. I know you have feelings, but when you are going through a situation, even a crisis, there is certain coping mechanisms that you need to be able to utilize, certain skills and tools. And I think that's the part that we kind of missed out on. And so it's just about balancing that, because they have every right to feel the way they feel. And I just don't want us to discount the things that they've been through. They have the internet that we didn't have until we were grown. All of the exposure. There's a whole other layer now to bullying, where before it was the bully you see that's at school, and there's teachers there and friends there to support you. Well, now you have cyberbullying, and now you have the predators who are online and all kinds of things. And all we had were magazines back then, as far as the body image and everything, but they're seeing it everywhere on social media. And now you got the BBLs and all this stuff. And so I think sometimes our generation doesn't really fully get that these kids have had exposure to a lot of things that we didn't. And we don't know how we would be if we had it. We look at them as having the internet and different things like, oh, that's so much easier. I remember telling my kids, if I would have had the internet when I was in school, I would have been valedictorian. But you got to think, everybody's not using the internet in the right way. Let me see. I'm glad that our kids can come to us about anything as a listening ear. Right. But like I said, and it's just helping them manage. I'm almost scared to click on this. We always saying that we want our kids to have it better than us. Comparison to this generation, we didn't turn out that bad at all. And we didn't. And they're not turning out bad either. That's the thing. They're not turning out bad. I love their innovation. I love their, they don't have fear of entrepreneurship, doing their own thing, creating their own path. I know for me, with our middle son, he scared me to death when he was like, I don't want to go to school. I don't want to go to the military. I don't want to get a regular job. I am going to get into videography. That's going to be my business. And I was all for that because y'all know I am an entrepreneur to my core. Oh, that was like a rap. I might have to write that song, an entrepreneur to my core. However, I still had a career for a long time that was the investor for my entrepreneurship. But this young man, he could not keep a job. If anything, he didn't like whatever he was walking off. And I'm like, dude, you have to keep a job. He's like, Ma, the only reason I'm getting these jobs is because you want me to get a job, but I already know I'm not going to be able to do this. And lo and behold, he never had any type of job for very long. But what he did do was stay consistent on his grind in that entrepreneurship and has had a fantastic career for years in videography and editing. So much so he's won a Stellar Award. He's doing his thing. He's only 28 years old and well on his way, in high demand for his video work. And I always believed in him, but I just thought that he had to do it my way. And it wasn't because I just wanted him to do it my way. I just didn't see another way. And it made me fear for him. And so there are certain things, like I said, that we can glean from that generation. I thank God there wasn't any internet or FaceTime phones back in the day. Girl, yes, me too. And that's the thing. We was bad as HE double hockey sticks because we didn't have that stuff. Don't y'all act like we wasn't sneaking. Look, Star 69 and caller ID would have took me out while you playing, because that didn't come out until I was, close to an adult. But had there been Star 69 caller ID when I was in middle school and high school, please. And these kids, we got tracking devices on them, Life 360, drop a pin. Man, I'm telling you, I got a pager, and you could always get a page from your parents and act like the payphone was broke. You couldn't use nobody's phone. We was always sneaking and lying and ducking and dodging. These kids really don't even have an escape. And so that's what I'm saying. When you get older, you have to remember, because I would not have been able to deal with a lot of stuff that they've dealt with. And so we have to be fair and realize that the generations are different. And when you start to try to, hey, Miss Priscilla, I didn't even see you on here, Miss Seal. Hey, when you start to have more of an empathetic, more of a compassionate and open mind to these younger generations, it is eye-opening, and it helps you to stay in that positive mindset. And it also helps you to realize that it takes all of us to make the world go round, and we can learn from them as well. Like, I would not dare not have a millennial on my team. You know what I'm saying? Because they have such a way of thinking. They are so good with this technology. They think outside of the box. Like, there is no way that I would want to form my team with just a bunch of 50-somethings. Not that we're not intelligent, not that we aren't creative, but it's just an entirely different mindset. Hey, Bevy, thank you so much for listening. I appreciate y'all. Y'all, that's my heart right there. My Bevy, that is my heart. Thank you so much for being here. I miss you. But it just, we're so much alike. And so I like being opened up to what the younger generations have to learn. And I think as you get older, you have to concentrate more on having that positive and open mindset. Don't be that know-it-all. And also don't be bitter. Don't be jealous of the younger people. Don't be judgmental of the younger people. Realize that it takes all of us. And just like we have advice and things that we can give them and information that we can share with them that can help them, don't think that they don't have things that they can share with us that help us as well. And so I don't want you, as you get older, to miss out on that. Because like I said, it's not about staying young, but it's about staying sharp. It's about staying in the know. It's about staying in the times. Because when you allow yourself just to stay in that bubble of what you felt like was your heyday, life is going to pass you by. You're not going to be able to adjust. And you want to have that mindset of constantly being able to adjust, constantly being able to pivot so that you can stay fresh, so that you can have that renewed mind. Let's see. Yes, they think differently in a good way. Absolutely, they do. Because the thing is, while they have the creativity and the different ideas, then we also have maybe more of the stability where we can help them build upon their creative ideas. And so it goes hand in hand, and we can help each other tremendously. And I'm telling you, it does so much good for mind, body, and soul to pay attention to these young people and don't become that old person sitting on the porch on the rocking chair talking about, look at them and listen to that music. I mean, listen to our music. We was talking about to the hip hop, the hibbit to the hibbit, the hip hop. What does that even mean? Nothing, but that's the jam, right? So it's like, it doesn't matter. And we talk about, how vulgar their music was. Again, our generation was just sneaky. Our stuff was vulgar too. We were saying all kind of stuff. We just said it sneakily. And now it's like, oh my gosh, I can't even believe they play that on the radio. We know what that stuff means. So it's like, but they just say it. And why are we judging them for it? Like, who is it okay to be sneaky or just to be out front? Like, I always felt like the devil you see better than the devil you don't, right? But we want to judge, but we can't forget. And it's the thing that, just keeps you sharp. It keeps you in the loop. It keeps you moving forward. Being negative, being judgmental, having that, fixed mindset that my generation was the best generation. And when we did it back in my day, I mean, that's no different. All of us hate when we try to bring something to somebody and they don't want change because that's the way we've always done it. That's a big thing in churches. Somebody new comes into leadership at the church and they have a new idea and everybody's all up in arms, not because the idea won't work. They don't even want to give it a chance. Why? Because we've always done it this way and we want to keep doing it this way. None of us like to hear that. Well, that's how I feel like we are with this the hip hop. I am, girl, hip hop. Oh my gosh. Coochie down to the socks over here. Love hip hop. But I must admit, I think the youngest rapper that I like is probably Jay-Z. I mean, he ain't young. It should never be us against them and vice versa. We can all learn from each other. Just be open. Absolutely. Absolutely. I agree with you 100%, 100%. Yeah, yes. Wallace, no, I love me some hip hop go-go. I like all kind of music, but yeah, I used to think I was a rapper back in the day. My rap name was Stay May. It was Stay May, Luscious T, and Slick C, and we all made this place the place to be. I can't give y'all too much because copyright, but yeah, Stay May was, I was the bomb back in the day. But anyway, it's just like I said, you have to be open-minded, and whenever you start to feel like you're in a rut, and you start to feel, just old or whatever, have coffee with a young person. Have a meeting with a young person, go to lunch with a young person. Everybody needs a young person on your team. And maybe that person isn't necessarily, your child, but it could be anybody. Like, I love having conversations with Lisa J and Lachey. I love that. And I want to be able to pour into them. I want to be able to give them some old lady nuggets, but I listen to the things they have to say. I love talking to my goddaughter, Iman. She is in her 30s, her early 30s. I talk to her. I pour into her. I want her to be able to have all of the information she can. I give her advice, but I listen and pay attention to her as well. And that way, I always feel like I'm in now. Don't allow yourself to get stuck in 1995. That is going to make you feel so old. You want to fuel yourself, mind, body, and soul. Those are the things that you want to do. And whenever these changes are coming about in your life, just embrace it and figure out what you need to do to make yourself as comfortable as possible. As I was going through, going into perimenopause and postmenopause and all that kind of stuff, instead of complaining about it, I did my research. I started figuring out what foods are good for me. What should I stop eating? What should I not stop eating? And I didn't deprive myself of everything, but I just did what would make me feel better. And if there was a day when I wanted to do something, then I just expected not to feel so great, but I did what I wanted to do. We changed our mattress. We got the cooling mattress. I got the cooling pillows. We did everything we had to do. And then Wallace, he's over there freezing, but you know what he said? He was like, babe, I know you going through. I'm just going to get me a little, twin size electric blanket, and he has his twin size electric blanket because it doesn't matter to me. It could be 30 degrees outside. We're going to have the fan going. I'm going to have my cooling pillow, but you have to do the things to make you comfortable. It wasn't going to do me any good just to constantly complain about getting older, constantly going through this phase of my life. I had to figure out, what do I need to do? I start researching what kind of vitamins I needed to take. And a lot of times the things that you used to do and things that were good for you just aren't good for you anymore. Be in conversation with your doctor. Don't let your doctor treat you like you're old. Don't let your doctor give you your age as a diagnosis. You let them know, no, I'm not accepting the fact that I'm 52 for this, because even though I'm 52, I need you to do something to treat this. Because one thing a doctor said to me one time, and I do not go to her anymore, is we were talking about my blood pressure. And she said, well, if you were 35, I would probably this, and this, but because of your age, we're just going to whatever, because it's to be expected. No. We're going to do all the things. Unless you can tell me because of my age, this is going to kill me and it wouldn't have killed me at 35, we're going to do it. Don't count me out like, oh, well, you towards the end, so we just going to do whatever. All of that plus medication. Yes, and you need to take your medications, but make sure that the medications that you're taking are right for you. And so with me, they had me on a certain dosage of blood pressure medication, and I needed it. At the time, we ended up in an emergency room. My blood pressure was like 220 over whatever they said I was pre-stroke. They upped my medication, and I needed that at that time. But I was on that medication for a couple of years and I started doing things differently. I had to say to my doctor, let's reevaluate this and see if I can start coming down off of this medication. Because in the meantime, I had started taking a couple of other different medications for different things. And we all know that even though medication is good for us and we need it, but it can do a job on our kidneys and different things. And so I only want to be on the medication that I need, on the dose that I need. For me, a rule of thumb is, unless I'm in an emergent situation, I'm always going to try to start something on the lowest dosage possible. But those are the kind of things, as you're getting older, that you need to pay attention to, because a lot of things can be overlooked with really young kids because they feel like, oh, it's a kid, it's probably just an injury, it's probably just this. Or as we get older, they're just like, you're just getting older. So we have to learn how to advocate for ourselves, tell the doctors what we feel, insist on certain tests, and make sure that they're being thorough with us and not just writing us off. And every once in a while, you want to start reevaluating your medications. If you're on a certain medication for whatever, and it all of a sudden doesn't seem like it's working anymore, don't let them just raise your medication. Think about maybe switching your medications. Our bodies can become immune to certain things after a while. All of my boys have allergies and they've had to take Zyrtec and Claritin, but the doctor told me from the beginning, we'll switch up every other allergy season. One season, we're going to do Zyrtec. The next season, good night, Chris. The next season, we're going to do Zyrtec, Claritin, Zyrtec, because if they just keep taking Zyrtec season after season or Claritin season after season, they're going to get immune to it. So don't think just because, oh, I've been on this cholesterol medicine or this blood pressure medicine for this long, now all of a sudden my blood pressure's up, my cholesterol's up. Oh, yeah, they're just going to up the doses. No, maybe your body just has stopped reacting to that medication. And so those are the conversations you want to have, because those things can keep you in a negative headspace. If you feel like it's always something, my medication is always going up in dosage, if things aren't getting any better. No, advocate for yourself. have those conversations. I appreciate doctors for going to school all those years to get that degree, all the research they've done, but nobody knows my body like I know my body. So even though I don't have that medical degree, what we're going to do is figure it out together, because I'm going to tell you about my body and how I'm feeling. And then you're going to help me figure out what the best thing is for me, because at the end of it all, it's on me anyway, so it's my body. Let me make those decisions, and you make sure you take copious notes so that there's no malpractice. Say, I told her she needed to double that medication and she refused it. But I want the opportunity to advocate on my behalf, and I'm willing to try some things before we go straight to the deep end where I'm doubling my medication or I'm going into surgery. Let's see what else we could do. And so many things could be handled simply with diet and exercise. And the older we get, the more we need to pay attention to that, because if we want to be honest, most of us have put our body through some things over the years. We didn't always eat right. We didn't exercise. A lot of the reason why we weren't having certain issues was because we were young and our bodies hadn't been through that much. Well, at this point, my body has been through 52 years of things that weren't always the best for me. And so I have to remember that. And so it's important for me to try to make up for some of that. And the older we get, the more important it is for like weight and resistance training. We're losing muscle mass every single day. Don't think so much about the cardio and all of that kind of stuff, because that's not really great for us. And a lot of the cardio and things like that can be shocking and jarring to our body and hurt our joints. That's why I don't run that much anymore. But start picking up some weights, even if it's just light weights, and see how those things can change. Think about the things that you eat. Yes, Bev. Yes. I mean, there are so many different things, and we have to pay attention. We have to keep our bodies moving, because again, so much of what we do is mindset, but it's hard to have a positive mindset when you don't even feel like getting out of the bed. And it's hard to feel like getting out of the bed when you're not eating right and you're not taking your vitamins and you're not moving. When you don't get outside to get a breath of fresh air, walk around the neighborhood, walk around your yard, because we want to do everything that we can, because it all works together. That's why the conference that I did this year, in the beginning of the year, for the women entrepreneurs, was mind, body, and business, because you cannot run a successful business if your mind and body isn't right. Right. And important to take medications as prescribed, or people taking them consistently and at the right time. Yeah, that's the thing too. You can't just take it when you feel bad. Everything can't be taken like a Tylenol. If you have a medication you're supposed to be taking it every day, take it every day, whether it's for your physical health or your mental health. Sometimes too, you have to give medications a chance. Just like I said, your body can become immune to certain medications. It takes a while for your body to adapt. There's a certain medication that I took, and it was recommended to me by one of my good sisters. I'm not going to call her out because I'm not telling her business. But when I first started taking the medication, I did not get the results that she got as soon as she got it. And so I stopped taking it. But then I started feeling bad again. So I'm like, let me give it another try. And it took me 2 weeks instead of a week. But sometimes it takes a while, and all of our bodies are different. And so you have to, give yourself a chance, especially if you're talking about like mental health things in particular. It sometimes takes your body a chance to adjust. When you're trying new medications, have a trusted friend, your spouse, your sister, your bestie, that you let know that you're taking a new medication. So if anything would happen, that they would know that. But there's just a lot that goes into advocating for yourself as you get older. You just want to keep your spirit up. You don't want to I'm glad Tam came on, because that's my girl right there. But she made me think about fashion. Wear what you want to wear as you get older. Don't think just because you're older, all of a sudden you got to be a frump-a-dump. You do not have to just walk around in polyester pants and a cardigan and flat shoes. wear what you want to wear. Don't think about, oh, this is too young for me, whatever. If you feel like it looks good on your body and the way you want to look, don't worry about it, because we're not wearing our ages on our back. Nobody knows how old you are. I know I went through that when I turned 40. I got rid of so many of my clothes, and I was still the same size and still looked exactly the same when I was 40 as I did when I was 39, just a couple of days before. But for some reason, my mind was like, well, I can't wear this no more. I can't wear this. That's not true. And Tam, if y'all are not already following Tam, she is awesome on TikTok. She does a lot of content about, being a woman of a certain age, awesome fashion sense, great stylist if you're looking for somebody to kind of help you find your style, because our bodies do change as we get older. So yeah, I can no longer still wear what I wore when I was 39, but that's not because of the style. That's because of my size. But don't worry about that stuff. Wear what makes you feel good. Wear what makes you feel comfortable. Don't think your age has to dictate your style. Again, we know how old we are, but nobody else has to know how old we are. And if you look good in it, and most of all, you feel good in it, do you. That's the thing about getting older that I love for me is what other people, oh, you're welcome, Tam. So well deserved, girl. So well deserved. But what other people think about me, I have realized is none of my business. And if you decide to share what you think about me with me, then be prepared for whatever you get back, because I no longer feel that I have to keep my feelings in. And so if you was bold enough to tell me, then I'm sure enough going to respond. But do I worry about it? Do I care? And a lot of times when people share their opinions with me, and y'all would be surprised how many times it happens, because y'all probably like, who is sharing all these opinions? But I think it's because the way I live my life and how I do things like this, I'm always on some screen, or I'm up on the stage, or I'm doing this or that. People just feel like once you kind of put yourself in a public light, that first of all, they feel like you have to share everything, which I don't. If you don't share everything, they'll call you a liar. And it's like, no, I'm not lying. I just didn't share that part. And they also feel like they have the, you would not be able to imagine how many comments, because some people are bold enough to just do it in my comments, especially on TikTok. But then there's other people who have felt like they needed to pull me to the side or say certain things or get in my inbox. And I'm to the point now where I really don't even respond. I'm kind of like, oh, really? Oh, okay. All right. Well, thanks for sharing. Or sometimes I'll ask people, what made you feel like you needed to share that with me? I've had people talk about my gray hair. You would look so much younger if you kept your hair dyed. Well, okay. I'm not really worried about looking so much younger. It's more to me about how I feel, not how I look, because I'm going to look how I look. It's my hair. It's gray. I color it sometimes, and sometimes I don't. There's been people who have said to me, I know I told you, people talking about me laying my edges. You need to lay them edges. I'm not laying my edges. You will never see me with any gel in my edges. There's been people who said stuff to me about my eyebrows. And it's just so funny to me that they feel like that's going to make me change anything, or it's going to bother me, because it's not going to do either. I dye my hair when I want to dye my hair. Never am I going to lay my edges. And I don't even know what they be talking about my eyebrows. They good over here. I'm not worried about it. But people do that, and you can't worry about that. And that's what I love about this age, because I'm so unbothered. Like, I went through the stage where I would really be bothered. Then I went through the stage where I was just going to clap back. Now I'm to the stage where I don't even care. I'm looking at you like, thanks for sharing the fact with me that you're insecure. Let's see. Yes, we just give less. I have no F's to give. None. It's just like, I'm just happy to be here. I'm going to enjoy myself. I am not going to, like, my hair is the least of my concerns. Other people's opinion of my hair is no concern at all. What I wear, how I dress, like, what I do know is I lived this 52 years long enough to know me. And that's the thing. Once you get older, just relish in the fact that you know you. And if you haven't, then use this time to get to know you, to live the life that you want to live, to be the person you want to be. Just enjoy the fact that you don't have to answer to anybody. Mr. Wallace, sorry, was listening, but away from my tablet. Oh, I don't know what Wallace said, but thank you, Tim. But yeah, those, just enjoy that. And that's the season that I'm in now. Just enjoying life, taking no crap, not doing or dealing with anything that I don't want to, and being me unapologetically, and finally knowing what that means. That's why I tell you, when that trip the other week in Virginia Beach, it was just a breath of fresh air, because I didn't even realize how I had kind of gotten myself into like a social funk in a way. And just, I don't know, but just being around my girls, it was great. And we need that. Take your time, connect with your friends. I mean, a lot of y'all probably don't live on the other side of the country from your homies like I do. But if you do, make a point to connect with them and just kind of get back to your roots, so to speak, and just let your hair down and have those conversations and reminisce. And, you know, those are the kind of things that just keep you vibrant. And I'm trying to think of every word to say besides keep you young, because nothing keeps you young. As long as you're blessed to be on this earth, you're going to get older. And we know the alternative, because we can't go backward. But you want to stay vibrant. You want to stay creative. You want to stay alert. You want to stay positive. Those are the things. We're not trying to stay young, because I couldn't have this life if I was 25 again. You know what I mean? I love the life that I have. And so going backwards is not appealing to me. But what is being able to enjoy the season that I'm in, no matter what age. Hey, Tamika, thank you so much for being here. And that's what I want to lend to all of you. Do everything that you can to be the best version of yourself each and every day. Make sure that you're taking care of yourself, mind, body, and soul. Make sure you have your spiritual life together. Make sure that you have your mental life together. Wake up every day with that attitude of gratitude, realizing that just the fact that you open your eyes in and of itself is a blessing. And then you were able to actually put your feet on the floor, another blessing. Then you stood up, another blessing. Then you remember where you are, another blessing. Be grateful for that. Don't take those things for granted. And then just go on about your day with that mindset of positivity. Give something to someone else, whether it's monetarily or whether it's just a kind word or a smile or a bit of advice given from the heart in a kind way, in a sharing way. Glean something from somebody younger, build a relationship with somebody younger. That's something else that I used to be. I typically throughout my life have been younger than a lot of my friends. As when I became an adult, I would be the youngest one in my crew, which I love, because I've always loved to learn from people older than me. So a lot of my friends, my two best friends, are a little bit older than me, and I've been friends with them forever, and I've always loved that. And so as I got older and I would meet new people, because of the way I live my life as an entrepreneur, as somebody who is out and about and doing different things, I would encounter, or I started to encounter, a lot of younger people. And I'm talking about people in their 30s, early 40s. And it was weird to me at first, because I'm like, I'm 50 years old. I can't be hanging out with a 38-year-old. And it ain't like we was going to the bars and the strip clubs, but it was just weird to me, you know, if they would invite me to their birthday party or to brunch, and I'm like, they gonna be there with all their friends and I'm gonna be the old auntie. And so I shied away from that for a while, because it just felt weird. And then I finally realized, this is the life that I live. These are the kind of things that I do as an entrepreneur, as a life coach, as a speaker. These are the kind of people that I'm gonna run into, and I need to embrace that. And when I did, it opened up a whole new world for me. And that's when I realized the things that I'm sharing with you today, how much you can learn. And then when you build these relationships, they will start to trust you and want to learn things from you as well, because they trust you. They see your personality. That's the best way. I talk about how business is about building relationships, but life is about building relationships. Before you just start giving somebody advice, before you start passing any judgment, take the time to build relationships with people. So with that relationship building comes trust. And just like people do business with those who they know, like, and trust, people feel more comfortable sharing with those who they know, like, and trust. So build that relationship. Let them get to like you. Let them get to know you. Let them get to trust you before you just start sharing. Back in my day, we never did this, this, and this. Learn a little bit first. And while you're learning about them, you'll also get to learn from them. I mean, and I have a couple of friends now who are younger than me, and we've had some deep conversations where I feel like we both, or at least I hope we both, learn something. And so it's very beneficial. And I can't talk about it enough because it's something that I never thought I would do. Like, you know, Wallace would even say, oh, yeah, such and such. They seem like that's a cool person. And I'm like, well, I don't know. I can't hang out with them like we did business, but, you know, they only 42 years old. And that's how I was. And he'd be like, well, you ain't dating them. It's just a friendship. Like, what difference is it? And I'm like, I can't be hanging out with no young girls. So silly, but that's the mindset I was stuck in. And I also didn't want anybody to think that I was trying to be young, right? Caring what people think. Now I'm like, I don't care who it is. If it is a nice person, somebody I have things in common with, we can be friends. Like, that is so. But again, y'all know I'm completely transparent. I will tell y'all the areas that I struggled in and the way I used to look at things. But the thing is, because I've always had an open mind, I'm never going to stay in a negative place for long. And I listen to reason. And when something's said and I realize, you know what, I'm being silly, I have no problem admitting that and correcting it. It's like I could be missing out on a great friendship. I could be missing out on an opportunity to learn some awesome things because I'm worried about somebody being too young. Like, that's just, now I see. It's crazy. But anyway, y'all, I have thoroughly enjoyed chatting with y'all. I put the link in the chat. I don't know why don't nobody but Cece ever want to come up here and talk to me, or she, but I hope that this conversation has been a good one. I hope that I have given you some encouragement to just go out there and live your best life at any age. Age ain't nothing but a number, and that is true to me. In most circumstances, unless you a 45-year-old trying to date a 16-year-old, then no, age is not just a number. But in most cases, age ain't nothing but a number. You're only old as you feel. Do you, be you, live your best life, take care of yourself, mind, body, and soul, and just embrace the season that you're in. Embrace the season of aging. Look at it as a blessing. Have the heart of gratefulness. Be kind. Do something for somebody else. Be a blessing to somebody else. Share your knowledge. Share your wisdom, but do it kindly and do it professionally, and reach out to somebody younger so that you can learn from one another. Those are the messages that I wanted to get across today. And I'm going to be doing some other content. I have a video that's going to be coming out about how to reinvent yourself over the age of 50 and just different things that I'm going to be talking about as far as just kind of getting into the swing of things and finding out where you fit in. So if you're not already subscribed to the channel, please go ahead and do so now. If you're watching on Facebook, just jump over to YouTube and put in the @ and Stay Hall and subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell so you'll be notified every time I drop new content. I drop a new video at least once a week and I go live at least once a week. I would love for you to be a part of the Lifer Tribe if you're not already, because this tribe is all about motivating, uplifting, educating everybody. And my goal in the beginning was just to reach women of a certain age, but I realized that a lot of the things we go through, men go through the same thing. It just might look different, but I know a lot of men have heard me and are like, you know what? I was dealing with that too. And men just don't always feel like they have a safe place. And so this is a safe place for everybody. So y'all know the drill. I love and appreciate each and every one of you. Always be kind and love one another, but don't forget to live your life. LYFE. Love yourself first explicitly. And I'll see y'all next time. Good night, y'all.
Living like a stage, hey, hey, 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 love yourself first, explicitly, you owe it to yourself to move with that energy, empower your self-esteem, self-love. love is king. That's the only way to win. That's how you empower your dream. Living life is game.